Rail slugs ripped through the hospital ring orbiting Kepler 62b. Commodore Mara Vance watched the impacts bloom on her main holodisplay, gouts of debris spraying into the void, life support modules crumpling like foil. Human medevac shuttles scattered, their transponders winking out one by one. "Confirm signatures," Vance snapped. Her bridge crew moved like pistons. Lieutenant Ray's at sensors punched overrides, feeding data straight to her console. "Coalition railguns, ma'am." Kavanari pattern heavies, firing from the outer marker. Ray's voice stayed level, no panic, just facts. Vance's jaw tightened. The safe zone encircled Kepler 62b, a neutral halo, declared inviolate by galactic treaty. Hospitals, refugees, no weapons allowed. Coalition ships had parked there under escort pretense. Now they turned those rails on human aid stations. "Full sweep, tag every recoil signature." Vance leaned forward. Her task force, 3 destroyers, 2 frigates, the carrier Resolute Asterisk, hung in stealth drift 2 light minutes out. Engines cold, signatures masked, sensors hummed. The holodisplay populated, 8 blips, coalition cruisers and escorts. Their slugs had punched clean through the ring's girders, venting atmosphere in silver plumes. Survivor pods tumbled free, pinging distress. "Got them," Reyes said. "Primary firer, Vanguard's Pride Asterisk, Admiral Suro Valek commanding, flanked by 7 wingmen. They're cycling batteries, expecting return fire." Vance's fingers danced over her tactical pad. Recoil tags locked, unique vibration prints from each barrel, undeniable. The galaxy's rules had teeth until the Coalition filed them down. "Combat silence all ships," she ordered. "No emissions, plot 1 jump intercept on my mark." Captain Jun Park's voice crackled from the destroyer Swift Fang Asterisk. "Intercepts green, Commodore, cycles synced. We hit in 60 seconds post-jump." "Good. Hold fire until my word." Vance glanced at Commander Ilian Keth, the Coalition defector strapped into the liaison station. His iridescent scales paled under the red bridge lights. 4 arms gripped his console, eyes fixed on the slaughter. "They're violating their own doctrine," Keth murmured in crisp system English. His voice carried the lilt of a dozen worlds. "Safe zone protocols demand de-escalation. Valek thinks humans break first." Vance met his gaze. "He fired on civilians. Log it." Keth nodded. Once a compliance officer enforcing those rules, he jumped ship when the Coalition twisted them into nooses. Now he fed her their playbook. The holodisplay updated. Hospital ring spun lazily, hold and dying. Coalition ships maneuvered smugly, broadcasting surrender demands on open channels. Standard PSYOP, make humans look aggressive. Vance composed her transmission. 1 line, tight beam to every tagged ship in the galactic net. "You fired first, log it." She hit send. The message burst out, time-stamped, notarized by Resolute Asterisk S Quantum Logger. "Proof for the treaty courts, proof for history." "Jump in 10, she said. Alarms chirped softly. Task force drives spooled in unison, silent until the knife-edge moment. Keth leaned closer. "Valek's arrogant. He'll assume you're calling for terms. His doctrine prioritizes show of force, never direct retaliation inside safe zones. His mistake." Vance watched the plot tighten. Jump vectors aligned to a pocket of space just astern of the Coalition formation. Perfect ambush geometry. "Jump!" Reality folded. Stars streaked, then snapped back. Resolute and her wolves materialized in a diamond wedge 200 clicks off the enemy's flank. Coalition sensors lagged. Vance saw it in their chatter, panic spikes on intercepted bursts. "Targets painted," Park reported. "Rails hot, missiles in tubes." "Fire Plan Alpha," Vance said. "Discipline strikes, no overkill." Torpedoes leaped from Swift Fang and her sisters. Smart munitions, human-coded, weaving through Coalition point defenses. They struck engines first, precision hits to cripple, not kill. Coalition cruisers bucked. Vanguard's Pride vented plasma, her rails falling silent. Admiral Valek's face appeared on the tight beam hail. His crest flared red, Kavanari rage signal. "Human aggressors, cease fire." "This is regulated escalation under Treaty Clause 47B, Vance kept her face stone. "You struck first inside the safe zone. We logged it. Stand down or we tag the rest." Valek barked a laugh. "Your primitives fold under rules. Surrender your task force." "The Coalition enforces peace," Keth whispered from his station. "He's committing his escorts. Doctrine play, flank and envelop." Vance nodded. "Park, Cycle 2, hit the wings." Swift Fang Asterisk S guns spoke. Rail volleys punched through escort shields, shearing turrets. Debris fields bloomed, forcing coalition ships to evade. Valek's image flickered. "Impossible, your tech." "Human standard," Vance cut in. "Yours broke the rules." A coalition frigate exploded under crossfire. Park's voice stayed ice calm. "Cycle complete, reloading for 3. Vance's display showed the math. Coalition down 30% mobility, humans unscathed. Their stealth jumps and signature tagging turned chaos into clockwork. Keth's console pinged. "Galactic observers inbound, they'll see the logs." "Let them." Vance targeted Asterisk Vanguard's Pride Asterisk-S bridge module, not a kill shot, a warning. "Admiral, your choice." Valek hesitated. His eyes darted, calculating odds. Coalition doctrine crumbled against human cycles. Strike, assess, repeat. No frenzy, just erosion. "Escorts reform on me," he roared. But 2 more fell to Park's torpedoes, engines slagged. Vance watched the holodisplay. Survivor pods from the hospital ring drifted toward her pickets. Med teams launched, human efficiency pulling lives from the wreck. "They're breaking," Keth said, awe-edged his tone. Aliens marveled at human restraint amid fury. Valek's hail cut back, sweat beaded his brow frills. "Terms?" Vance smiled thinly. "Full log surrender, power down, or we burn the lie from the map." His crest drooped. "Complying." Coalition ships went dark one by one. Vance's task force held station, sensors sweeping for tricks. Park reported in. "Boarding teams ready, ma'am. Valek's pride secured?" "Affirm, but this is round 1. Vance eyed the stellar map. Coalition fleets massed beyond the zone. They'd struck to test humanity's spine. Keth unstrapped. "They won't stop. Doctrine calls for escalation gradients. Next, their core worlds." Vance stood. "Then we grade them harder." Sensors pinged, a coalition battle group jumping in system, reinforcements. Vance's hand hovered over the tac pad. "Task force, weapons free, cycle begins." Torpedoes lit the void again. The safe zones lie shattered under human fire, and the galaxy watched. Marines in powered exosuits sliced through the compliance cutter's outer hull. Sparks died in vacuum. Commodore Mara Vance watched the feed on her bridge holodisplay. The cutter drifted dead ahead, engines cold, a relic from the Coalition's failed safe zone patrol. "Breached," Lieutenant Reyes reported. "Safe room sealed tight, cutting now." Vance nodded. Her task force idled in formation, pickets sweeping for ambushes. The Coalition had struck first, blasted a human colony outpost inside the declared safe zone. Rules be damned. Now her UNSS Relentless claimed this prize. Marines hauled the safe room door free. A figure tumbled out, tall, frilled, clad in compliance grays. Commander Ilian Keth of the Coalition Oversight Fleet. He gasped through his breather mask, eyes wide at the human squad. "Secure him," Vance ordered. "Bridge now." Minutes later, Keth stood before her command chair. Restraints hummed on his wrists. His crest twitched, scent glands pulsing fear notes even humans could smell. "Commander Keth," Vance said, "you enforce safe zone protocols. Explain why your coalition violated them." Keth straightened. His voice clicked with alien harmonics, translated clean by the ship's AI. "I defect. They fired on your outpost, broke every gradient. Take me to your leaders. I know their playbook." Vance eyed him. Defectors lied. But his cutter's logs matched, coalition signatures on the attack. She tapped her tac pad. "Debrief full protocols or you drift with the wreck." Keth exhaled. "Gradients control escalation. Safe zone, no kinetics above 0.1 C. Threshold 1, civilian distress signals trigger de-escalation holds, minimum 300 seconds. Threshold 2, if defenders fire back, attackers must announce intent, wait 180 seconds for compliance." Vance leaned forward. Her mind mapped it, rules as code, exploitable. "Escalation ladders, 3 tiers." Keth projected from his wrist unit, overriding restraints with a coalition override code. Hollows bloomed, flowcharts, timers, sensor triggers. Tier 1, warning shots, drones only. Tier 2, precision kinetics, no area effects. Tier 3, full barrage, but only after broadcasted ultimatum and 600-second stand-down. She absorbed it. Precise, predictable. The Coalition wrote the rulebook to cage hot-blooded species. Humans, they engineered around rules. "Thresholds for misclassification," Vance pressed. Keth's frills flared. "Sensors flag by IFF and profile. Civilian transponders override military signatures if within 5% mass variance. Decoys work if they mimic hauler drives." Vance smiled faintly. "Gold. Captain Park Bridge." Captain Jun Park appeared via split feed, his destroyer UNSS Phantom ghosting at the formation's edge. Calm eyes, steady hands on controls. "Ma'am, rewrite ops plan." Vance forwarded Keth's data. "Cycle strikes to their gradients. Decoys force civilian locks." "Time every window." Park scanned it. "Affirm drones launch in 5, Phantom leads picket runs." Vance cut the link. She turned to Keth. "You navigate their doctrine. Stay useful, you live." Keth nodded. "They underestimate you. Humans fight. Clean." Task force accelerated. Relentless shuddered as drone bays yawned. 50 decoys spat out, hulking profiles mimicking colony freighters broadcasting civilian IFF. Drives thrummed at hauler spectra. Coalition sensors lit up across the system. Vance's holodisplay showed it, enemy battlecruisers reclassifying her warships as non-threats. Probes scattered, confused. "They're locking us as civvies," Reyes confirmed. "Picket groups green." Vance's voice boomed fleet-wide. "Strike cycle 1, threshold exploit." "Park synchronize." Phantom surged first. Park's torpedoes lanced under civilian cover, slow, precise, under 0.1 C. They kissed Coalition escorts, slagging sensors without hull breaches. Alarms wailed on enemy bridges. Coalition Admiral Suro Valek paced his flagship's deck. His crest stood rigid. "Humans in the zone, classify," sensors chirped. "Civilian transponders, haulers and pods, no military locks," Valek snarled. "Impossible. Vance's task force jumped in hours ago," Lieutenant hissed. "Protocols bind us." "No kinetics on civilians without Gradient 1. Valek hesitated. Rules protected the weak, or so Coalition doctrine claimed. He broadcast the warning, "Unidentified vessels, power down, stand by for boarding." 300 seconds ticked. Vance's fleet ghosted closer. Decoys pulsed distress signals, forcing holds. "Cycle 2, Park reported, his voice even. "Torpedoes away, precision kinetics." Strikes hit. Coalition drones vaporized. Escorts limped, announcing intent as per Tier 2. But Vance's teams waited exactly 180 seconds, then answered with mass drivers. Slugs punched engines, timed to the millisecond. Keth watched Vance's bridge. Humans moved like code executing. No rage, just vectors and timers. "You're turning their rules against them," he murmured. Vance didn't look up. "Rules are physics we optimize." Valek's fleet reformed. Battle cruisers loomed, gradients climbing. "Ultimatum broadcast," he ordered. 600 seconds, then Tier 3. His hollows showed human civilians scattering, decoys blooming chaff. Real warships flickered through gaps, Park's destroyers coiling for the kill. Vance's hand rested on the tack pad. 600 seconds, her cycles compressed it, strike, assess, evade. Coalition fire lagged, bound by their own chains. "They're predictable," Park said over comms. Pride's engines exposed, torpedoes cycling. Explosions bloomed, Valek's lead cruiser cracked. Survivor pods jettisoned, human med shuttles snagged them mid-drift, pulling aliens aboard. Keth stared. "You saved them mid-battle?" Vance's eyes stayed on the plot. "Efficiency." "Live prisoners yield data." Valek roared into the hail. "Cease, this violates gradients." Vance patched him through, her face calm on the split screen. "You struck first, safe zone null, surrender logs or we escalate." His frills drooped. Sensors lied, humans everywhere, decoys and steel blurring. Another destroyer fell to Park's torpedoes. Reinforcements jumped in Coalition battle group, fresh from core lanes. Vance's sensors pinged, her task force tightened. "Park, reform pickets, Keth, core world gradients." Keth fed data. "Heavier rules, but same thresholds." Vance nodded. "Drones reload, cycle 3. Torpedoes lit the void. Coalition hulls buckled under timed fire. Valek's fleet fragmented, escorts peeling to defend the wounded. On Relentless Bridge, Vance watched the erosion. No frenzy, just disciplined cuts. Keth's grew, humans fought like surgeons, wielding Coalition rules as scalpels. Valek's voice cracked. "Terms? Full surrender, power down." Ships went dark, boarding teams launched. But stellar maps glowed, more fleets massing. Round 1 ended, Vance eyed the next gradient. "They wrote the book, we make it burn." Park's voice cut in. "Boarding secure, ma'am, next wave inbound." Vance stood. "Task force, weapons hot, we grade them to ash." Sensors screamed, Coalition heavies dropping from jump. Vance's fingers danced the tack pad, cycles accelerated. The safe zones lie cracked wider, Keth strapped in beside her. "Your strategy, it's beautiful." Vance ignored the praise, eyes locked on the plot. Humans didn't gloat, they executed. Park's destroyers wheeled, decoys blooming anew. Coalition sensors scrambled, civilians everywhere. Gradients triggered holds, strikes landed, escorts shattered. Valek's reinforcements faltered, bound by rules humans danced around. One battlecruiser broke free, firing wild. Slugs grazed Phantom shields, Park didn't flinch. Countercycle torpedoes! Relentless batteries spoke. The cruiser vented atmo, pods drifted, med teams scooped them. Vance's fleet held the center, coalition flanks crumbled. Keth whispered, they thought you'd rage. Fold under fair fight. We define fair. Vance keyed fleet-wide. Push the gradient, core lanes next. Valek's final hail, complying. Dark hulls dotted the void, but jumps flared beyond, escalation gradients calling more. Vance turned to Keth. Doctrine says core worlds now. He nodded, Tier 4, orbital denial only. She smiled thinly. Park, plot the burn. Cycles ground on, the galaxy's rules bent under human steel. Coalition watched their lie erode, one precise strike at a time. Relentless drives cut silent. Captain Jun Park watched the plot bloom. Coalition escorts drifted blind, 2 light minutes off their starboard bow. Jump flare masked in nebular noise, engines cold. His destroyer vanished into the static soup. Status, Park said. Sensors blind cone confirmed, his TAC officer replied. They're pinging ghosts, tonnage gradient holds at 98%. Park nodded. Vance's orders burned fresh, plot the burn, core lanes next. Tier 4 denial, no rage, just cycles. Missile ladder sink. Fire on my mark. Batteries hummed. Relentless ghosted forward on thrusters alone. Sister destroyers, Wraith and Shadow mirrored from the flanks. Park's thumb hovered. 3 escorts fat and slow patrolling the lane choke. Coalition heavies loomed beyond, but these were the gatekeepers. Mark! Missiles spat in synchronized waves. Smart seekers rode the noise, dodging decoys. No kinetic slugs, no shield breakers, just precision strikes under safe zone limits, tonnage calibrated to cripple, not kill. Warheads burrowed into engine nacelles. Escorts shuddered, plasma vents bloomed. 1 yard hard comms fritzing, Park's plot updated, crippled, drifting, no jumps. Clean hit, relaying to Phantom. Comms crackled, Vance's voice cut through. Park, textbook, flanks open. Affirm, Commodore, lane clear for burn run. Execute. Park strapped tighter, relentless pivoted, destroyers accelerated into the gap. Coalition alarms wailed across open channels, panic gradients spiking, but rules bound them, no mass drivers inside the zone. No escalation without tears. From Phantom's bridge, Commodore Mara Vance tracked the feed. Park's trio sliced the blind cone like scalpels. Escorts listed, crews scrambling pods. Keth leaned over her shoulder, scales paling. They're not firing back, he murmured. Doctrine locks them. Tonnage breach would flag the whole fleet. Vance's fingers flew across the tack pad. We know their locks, they don't know ours. Plot updated, core lane exposed. Valek's flagship anchored the far end, battle cruisers screening. Her task force held the gradient, strikes legal, relentless. Boarding teams prep, we're taking the logs. Keth's eyes widened. The flagship now. Receipts mid-battle. Vance keyed fleet-wide. Phantom closing. Park, cover the burn. Aye, ma'am. Shields flared as Phantom surged. Coalition pickets twisted, but crippled escorts clogged their lanes. Slugs whined past, wild shots from the heavies. Vance's point defenses swatted them. Her carrier spat Marines in stealth pods. Park's destroyers laid suppressing fire, missile ladders chaining, forcing holds. Valek's hail pierced the din. Human commander, cease this violation. Safe zone protocols. Vance muted him. Helm, match vectors, breach on my mark. Pods latched, breaches blew. Marines poured into the flagship's guts, corridors echoing with mag-boot thuds and stun rounds. Vance watched the overlay. Her teams hit the bridge in under 2 minutes. Coalition crew froze, tentacles quivering. No fight, just surrender protocols kicking in. Logs secured, her Marine lead reported. Purge attempt failed, timestamps intact. Vance exhaled once. Extract, broadcast packet prepped. Ready. She patched to every neutral relay in system. Civilian nets, trade buoys, observer drones. Logs dumped, coalition guns firing first. Inside the safe zone, timestamps irrefutable. Firing solutions tagged civilian vectors. The lie burned public. Coalition channels exploded. Neutrals lit up, queries flooding. Valek's voice cracked over open freak. Fabrication. Human aggression? Deny it, Vance transmitted, her words fleet-wide, calm as steel. Timestamps don't lie, your strike logged, our response measured. Park's voice cut in. Burn commencing, core lane primaries targeted. Relentless led the charge. Destroyers wove through debris. Coalition screens buckled, gradients forcing retreats. Park's torpedoes cycled. 1-2 punch, shields down, engines gutted. A battlecruiser loomed, massed drivers charging. Evade, Park ordered. Relentless rolled. Slugs missed by meters. Counterfire, missiles laddered into vents. The cruiser cracked, hull splitting. Vance's plot showed it all. Park turned chaos to rhythm, attack cycles repeating, enemies funneled into kill boxes. Keth gripped his console. Your captains, they predict them like machines. Not machines, Vance said. Engineers. She watched Valek's formation fracture. Flanks peeled back, bound by tiers humans exploited. One heavy broke loose, ramming Vector on Wraith. Park anticipated. Cycle shift, decoys port. Wraith ghosted. The heavy plowed decoys, shields flaring blind. Shadow's torpedoes followed, perfect ladder. Hull breached, pods jettisoned. Med teams launched, human doctrine scooped survivors, no waste. Valek's final push faltered, reinforcements jumped in dozens strong, but logs spread. Neutrals pulled buoys, trade halted, coalition admirals hesitated, gradients redlining. They're fracturing, Keth said. Your proof, it's doctrine poison. Vance keyed Park. Burn complete. Core lane denied, primaries cold. Regroup on Phantom, next gradient. Park's destroyers peeled back, engines flaring clean. Vance stood, task force coalesced. Coalition wrecks dotted the void, logs proving every shot theirs first. Valek's hail returned, voice strained. Commodore Vance, parley, the logs. Timestamps stand, she replied. Your rules broke first, ours hold. Silence, then jumps, retreat flares, Keth exhaled. Core worlds next, tier 4. Vance's smile thinned. Park's plotting it. Sensors pinged anew. Fresh signatures, coalition escalation, gradients maxed. But neutrals broadcast wide, the lie exposed. Humans didn't rage, they receded, Park's voice steady. New cycle inbound, vectors locked. Vance gripped the tack pad. Weapons hot, grade them. Relentless accelerated, destroyers reformed the ladder. Coalition heavies dropped blind again, Park's trap sprung. Missiles chained, escorts vaporized under limits. From the bridge, Vance saw the pattern repeat. Park forced choices, fight illegal or fold. They folded. One carrier broke formation, pods dumping civilians, propaganda play. Park's team scooped them mid-burn. No hesitation. Keth shook his head. You save them, even theirs. Rules apply. Vance watched the plot. Valek's core fled, lanes choked. Orbital denial primed, strikes plotted on shipyards, not habitats. Fire, she ordered, torpedoes arced, defenses crumbled, yards bloomed fire, production lines silenced. Valek's last transmission, monsters, this ends. Logs say otherwise. Vance cut the link. Broadcasts rolled, new timestamps, new proof, Park reported in. Burn secured, casualties minimal. Human or theirs, both zero combat deaths, pods all accounted. Vance nodded, competence, not conquest. Keth stared at the plot, aliens' empire cracking under human steel. Jumps flared beyond the lane, reinforcements massing. But the galaxy watched now, receipts piled. Next wave, Park said. Vance's fingers danced. Cycles accelerated. The safe zone's truth etched in fire, one precise burn at a time. Relentless ghosted into the next blind cone. Park's plot locked. Ladder ready? Mark. Missiles flew. The lie burned brighter. Coalition doctrine choked on its own rules. Humans answered with strategy cold as void. Valek's fleet scattered. Neutrals cheered across nets. Human receipts viral. Vance leaned back. Park's voice hailed. Core worlds plotted, ma'am. Tier 4 burn. Execute. The task force surged. Galaxy's rules bent. Human force straightened them. Vance's fingers stabbed the holoplot. Mines to projected resupply orbit. Grid Echo 59er, future track only. Not their current vector. Captain Park's destroyer icons blinked acknowledgement across the link. Aye, Commodore, dropping pattern now. Silent runners, quantum locked. The task force ghosted through the debris lane. Coalition shipyards still smoldered behind them. Production chains gutted, not a habitat scratched. Vance watched the plot harden. Valek's rooted fleet nursed wounds in the outer belt. Resupply convoys would swing wide, hugging the safe orbit to dodge patrols. Predictable. Coalition doctrine prized regulated lanes, even in retreat. Keth leaned into the bridge feed from his liaison station, his scaled brow furrowed. They'll detect the deployment phase shift. Doctrine demands sensor sweeps before resupply. Vance didn't glance up. Let them sweep the wrong path. Park's voice cut and sharp. Mines armed, yielders set for kinetic burst, no rads, they'll think debris. Goal locked, force Valek's remnants into the kill box. Vance traced the sim, convoys inbound at mark +6 hours, escorts trailing. Mines waited on the curve ahead, invisible ghosts. Admiral Valek's command carrier loomed on the plot, limping coreward. His transmission crackled open. Human aggressor, this violates escalation protocols. Cease or face coalition judgment. Vance keyed reply. Your strike on safe zone Epsilon 9 violated first. Receipts broadcast, pull back. Silence stretched. Then Valek, bluff, neutrals will see your overreach. Park's destroyer fainted first. His squadron burned hot toward Valek's flank, guns hot, missiles priming. Coalition escorts surged to intercept, textbook response. Retreat cycle 1, Park ordered his wing. Destroyers wheeled, engines flaring blue. They dragged fire from Valek's heavies, pulling the fleet off axis. Vance nodded to the plot. Park turned chaos to rhythm. Faint retreat baited the hook. Valek's icons bit, carriers and cruisers lunged into the corridor, chasing the rooted humans. Keth hissed. He's committing reserves, blind to the curve. Park, extend, Vance said. Park's voice stayed ice calm. Extending, ladder 2 primed. Destroyers danced back, luring deeper. Valek's fleet compressed, 40 hulls packed tight in the mine throat. Sensors pinged debris ahead, but doctrine said press the route. Vance's thumb hovered over the trigger grid. Mines sat dormant on the future track. Convoys would trigger first, but Valek walked right in. Staggered bursts, she commanded. Pocket 1, lead escorts, hold 2 seconds. Pocket 2, carriers. Detonations bloomed silent on the plot. First wave shredded point defense frigates. Kinetic storms ripped hulls, no EMP to scream warning. Valek's van exploded into isolated packs. Alarms wailed on enemy feeds. Valek's carrier bucked as second burst caught his flanks. Cruisers vented atmo, engines dead. Third pulse gutted the tail, supply tenders atomized. Park's destroyers reversed hard. Strike cycle live, missiles away. Torpedoes corkscrewed in, timed to the pockets. No massed barrage, precise ladders hammered isolated targets. Coalition guns swiveled wild, doctrine crumbling under fire discipline. Keth patched in. Their nets fracturing, relays open, I'm in. Do it, Vance said. Keth's claws flew over his console. Coalition comm doctrine used hard-coded relays for secure fallback. He knew the keys, defector's gift. False packets flooded, ceasefire codes prefixed with Valek's own auth. Enemy chatter spiked. Ceasefire confirmed, hold positions. Valek's voice roared over open channel. False, it's human spoof, regroup on me. Too late. Pocket stayed frozen, guns cold. Park's wolves pounced. Destroyers sliced through the splits, railguns spitting tungsten death. One carrier burst Valek's flagship, debris spun lazy. His escape pod pinged surrender. Vance watched the plot clear. 70% losses, no human hulls scratched. Task force cycled out, ghosts again, Park hailed. Corridor owned, ma'am, convoys due in 4, mines reset. Affirm, Vance replied. Prime for resupply burn. Keth shook his head, eyes wide on the carnage feed. You scheduled it, not chase. They followed their own map to graves. Vance straightened. Rules are vectors, we plot the end state. Reinforcements flared on long-range scan, coalition battle group massing jumps, but nets lit with neutral chatter. Human receipts viral, timestamps, vectors, proof of safe zone breach. Coalition lies cracked, Park's next report dropped. Tier 4 plotted, core shipyards next. Vance's fingers danced new grids. Execute on mark. The task force surged silent. Valek's pod tumbled in tow, interrogation gold. Galaxy's safe rules bent under cold math. Humans straightened them, one scheduled grave at a time, but the jumps massed thicker. Admiral Valek's voice leaked from the pod feed, defiant even in chains. You'll burn for this. Full coalition mobilizes. Vance cut the audio. Keth, decrypt their next resupply. Park, faint prep. New plots bloomed. Mines shifted to fresh curves. The lies map burned brighter. Park's destroyers ghosted ahead, bait ready. Coalition heavies took the lure, dozens plunging into the predicted throat. Valek's remnants had whispered the playbook. Keth confirmed it mid-jump. They're rigid, he said. Escalation tiers lock their moves. Vance triggered early. Mines staggered vicious. First burst carved the lead squadron into wreckage clouds. Shrapnel-chained reactions, no rad blooms to alert tails. Valek's successor barked orders, but Keth's relays sang ceasefire lies again. Pockets froze. Park's missiles laddered in flawless. Hull counts plummeted. Escape pods bloomed like apologies. Secure, Park reported. Pods scooping. Vance watched the net feeds explode. Neutrals amplified the burns. Human precision viral. Coalition doctrine a joke. Keth stared. You save their pods even now. Rules apply, Vance said. Teams scooped mid-burn. Valek's interrogation vid patched through. Shackled on Park's deck, the Admiral glared. Monsters, this ends regulated war. Logs say you started it, Vance transmitted back. Safe zone strike, your call. He snarled silent as yards ahead plotted strikes, not habitats. Fire! Torpedoes arced true. Defenses folded under timed volleys. Shipyards ignited, lines silenced. Park, burn secured, 0 deaths. Cycles accelerated. Jumps flared beyond, full mobilization. Vance leaned in. Next wave. Relentless ghosted blind cones. Park locked ladders. Mark! Missiles flew. The safe zone's truth etched deeper. Coalition core loomed. Tier 4 burns queued. But one ping spiked. Defector signals from within. Keth's kin. Commodore, Keth said low. Relay net cracking wider. We hijack core command. Vance eyed the plot. Schedule it. Task force burned in. Galaxy watched. Human steel cracked empires, not with rage, but receipts and rails. Valek's last gasp echoed nets. They predict us, neutrals cheered. Humans didn't chase. They owned the paths ahead. New convoy tracks plotted. Minds dropped silent. The war's rhythm pulsed cold, inevitable. Core worlds next. Who blinked first? Sensors screamed across the task force net. Commodore Mara Vance gripped her command rail as the plot bloomed red. Coalition dreadnoughts hung over Epsilon Drift, a neutral shipyard in the safe zone core. Valek's platforms aligned. Bombardment signatures spiked. Open channel, Vance snapped. Captain Park's destroyer feeds patched in sharp. Commander Keth leaned into her shoulder hollow, his scales paling under bridge lights. Admiral Valek's face filled the main plot. His crest flared high. Humans, your restraint ends here. We strike this yard to regulate escalation. Respond and prove your barbarism. Torpedoes leaped from his bays. They arced down, plasma wakes scorching vacuum. Epsilon's docks shuddered. Frames buckled. Pods ejected in frantic sprays. Civilian haulers repair tenders, neutral merchants. Vance's jaw tightened. Record all. Park status on counter targets. Depots locked, ma'am. Empty coalition resupply nodes per Keth's intel. Primed for demo charges. Keth nodded once. They swore those untouchable. Valek breaks first. Show the feeds. Vance keyed fleet-wide. Task Force Relentless authorized counter-bombardment. Empty depots only. Time detonations for max visibility. No habitats. Execute. Relentless drives thrummed. Jump coils charged in sync. Park's voice cut clean. Cycle one away. Detonation in 30. Coalition torpedoes slammed home. Epsilon Drift's outer arms vaporized in fireballs. Pods tumbled wild, beacons pulsing SOS. Neutrals across the net amplified the horror, feeds viral in seconds. Vance watched her plot. Relentless ghosted through blind cones. No pursuit signatures yet. Valek baited overreaction. She gave him precision. Detonation mark, Park called. Depots bloomed across 3 systems. Silent coalition stockpiles, fuel drums, drone racks, empty torpedo cradles, ignited in chained thermobarics. Sensor ghosts lit every neutral scope. No life signs, no debris fields hitting pops, net feeds flipped. Humans hit ghosts, one neutral anchor barked. Coalition doctrine empty targets untouchable, lie burns. Valek's channel snarled back. Propaganda, they hide cowards. Vance ignored him. Park rail teams up, cut his platforms, populated zones stay cold. I, ma'am, strike coordinator live. Captain Jun Park stood rock steady on his destroyer Vanguard S bridge. Railgun capacitors whined to peak. His plot synced with Vance's task force. Ladders plotted, drift vectors locked. Coalition platforms orbited Epsilon proper, shields thin against kinetics. Teams cycle one, Park ordered. Precision rails, platforms only. Guns barked. Slugs accelerated to .9C. They punched silent through the black. First platform shuddered, rail cores gutted, reactors cold. It listed engines dead. Coalition point defense flared late. Valek's voice boomed. Evasive, flank the primitives. Second cycle, rails spat again. Park timed it tight. Slugs threaded gaps between tumbling pods. Platforms cracked open, hulls peeling. No stray shots kissed the ring habitats below. 3 down, Park reported. Orbit decaying clear. Vance's approval pinged back. Good work. Keth talked me through his next move. Keth's eyes flicked plots. Valak escalates regulated. Flagship draws fire. Propaganda feed beams the human rage. He saves face or saves ships. Vance smiled thin. We stack the choice. Relentless closed vectors. Park's asterisk Vanguard led the wedge. Coalition escorts scrambled, but human ECM jammed their locks. Rails cycled relentless, 4-5 platforms gutted. Pods scooped mid-burn by drone tenders. 0 losses. Valak's dreadnought pinnacle loomed central. Its bays spat fresh torpedoes at the yards. Propaganda arrays broadcast live. Shattered docks, human silhouettes forged in flames. Commodore, Park said. Flag locked, rails hot on arrays or hull. Vance keyed direct. Admiral Valak, your platforms fall. Choose save asterisk pinnacle asterisk or your feed. His bridge feed showed chaos, officers shouting, crests flat in panic. You bluff, regulated war spares flag. Rails whined, Park's finger hovered. Your mark, ma'am. Target arrays, Vance said. Let him watch it die. Slugs streaked. Propaganda spines shattered. Pinnacle asterisk as broadcast cut mid-sentence, Epsilon's agony replaced by silent static. Valak's face twisted live on backup feeds. Shields to forward, he roared, but the choice landed. Platforms plunged, scraping Atmo harmless. His escorts peeled to cover the flag, exposing flanks. Park pounced. Escorts in the pipe, cycle 2. Rails hammered, coalition hulls vented. Vanguard danced through wreckage, scooping more pods. Keth patched defector chatter. Safe zone neutrals relay our burns. Coalition command cracks. Vance nodded. Push the wedge, core depots next. Task force accelerated, jumps flared in chain. Net feeds exploded wider, human strikes viral, coalition lies dissected frame by frame. Neutrals cheered, they predict us. Valak's last gasp echoed. Primitives on the paths. Relentless burned blind. Park locked fresh ladders, tier 4 depots, empty ghosts per Keth's maps. Mark. Missiles flew, detonations chained visible. The safe zone etched truth, humans hit only the untouchable lies. But one ping spiked on Vance's plot. Defector signals from Coalition Core. Keth's kin? Commodore, Keth said low. Relay net wide open, we hijack Core command. Vance eyed the burn, Core worlds loomed. Schedule it. Drives thrummed harder. Admiral Suro Valak slammed his console. Pinnacle asterisk S bridge reeked of ozone. Platforms gone, feeds dead. Human rails carved his fleet like engineers testing steel. Regroup, he barked, officers flinched. Jump to core rally, they chase rage, we regulate there. Sensors pinged. Human signatures ghosted ahead. Mines, no convoy tracks plotted silent. Comms, Valak snarled. Propaganda restart, show their pod scoops as tricks. Static answered. Defector signals flooded internal nets. His own officers glanced away. Humans didn't rage, they scheduled. Vance's plot cleared the wedge. Park's voice steady. Tier 4 burns secured, 0 civs. Keth leaned in. Core relay cracking, my contacts Q hijack. Good, Vance said. Park full cycles, we own the rhythm. Jumps ignited. Coalition core waited. But defector pings multiplied, kin allies breaking wide. One message pierced. Valak's flag isolated, take it. Vance's smile sharpened. Plot intercept, force the blink. Relentless ghosted in, rails primed, Galaxy watched, Valak blinked first, task force closed. Park's rails locked asterisk pinnacle asterisk S engines. Keth's hijack fed false jumps, luring escorts away. Fire, Vance ordered, slugs flew true, pinnacle shuttered, drives cold, boarding drones launched. Valak's final feed, monsters predict, static, Park reported, flag secured. Admiral aboard for round 2, Vance exhaled. Interrogation vid live, neutrals first. Feeds reignited, shackled again, Valak glared from asterisk Vanguard asterisk S deck. This ends regulated. Logs say you baited, Vance transmitted. Safe zone first strike, your doctrine burns. He snarled silent. Yards ahead plotted fresh, coalition habitats untouched, cores next. Next wave, Vance said, cycles accelerated, defector nets swelled. Human steel cracked empires, not rage, but rails and receipts. Core ping spiked, full mobilization inbound. Vance leaned forward. Who blinks? No one answered. Relentless burned on. Rails thrummed under Commodore Mara Vance's boots. Relentless surged through the void, task force ghosts flanking tight. Core relay live, Commander Ilian Keth said. His frilled crest twitched over the holoplot. Valak's flag asterisk pinnacle asterisk, patterns locked. Vance nodded. Screens bloomed with intercepted logs. Keth's defector net fed them raw. Coalition command pings, captain queries, admiral overrides. "Show me the blink," she said. Keth's claws danced. Timestamps scrolled. Pinnacle *S bridge chatter spiked. Captains urging spread formation against human swarm tactics. Valek's voice cut through, gravelly and sure. "Regulated intercept. Close the net." Captains hesitated. Probes queried fuel states, jump vectors there. The override, 1427 mark. Valek barked, "My flag leads, escorts mirror." Captains complied, formation bunched. Keth leaned back. "He overrides when prey scatters, thinks heroes charge the weak point." Vance's lips thinned. "We give him one." Park's destroyer icon pulsed on plot. "Convoy sim ready, Commodore, Civ markers, distress beacons, they'll bite." "Launch broadcast," Vance ordered. Relentless *S arrays flared. Foe signals erupted, panicked human freighters, evacuation runs from a stranded colony. Vectors pointed straight into Coalition patrol lanes. Bait fat and slow. Coalition chatter ignited. Keth translated bursts. Valek takes command. "Heroic intercept." Escorts detaching to screen. Plot updated. Pinnacle pivoted, escorts trailing like obedient hounds. They burned hot toward the ghost convoy. Vance watched the wedge close. "Park, position crossfires, strip escorts first." "Affirm," Captain Jun Park replied, voice level as machined steel. Lanes plotted, cycles synced. Task force dissolved into shadows. Destroyers ghosted wide, rails charging silent. Relentless held the keel, spinal lance primed. Valek's flag swelled on scopes. Escorts fanned, 6 heavy cruisers, doctrinal perfect, shields overlapped in regulated lattice. Park's voice cut in. "Trap spring, fire." Hell uncoiled. Rails spat from the black. Slugs crossed lanes precise, 0.2C impacts shredding cruiser flanks. No wild barrages. Timed strikes, port escorts, engines vaporized first, then starboard's point defense. Coalition cruisers twisted. Captains yelled overrides, but Valek's flag locked them tight. "Maintain intercept." Vance tracked it. Keth's map proved true, override held them bunched. Park's destroyers danced cycles. First pass gutted drives, second stripped weapons. Slugs punched reactors, blooms lit the void, escorts died in sequence. 1, 2, 3, hulls cracked, air venting in silent plumes. "Pinnacle exposed," Park reported. "Bridge lock acquired." Valek's flag thrashed. Drives flared wild, probes screaming for backup. None came. Defector pings jammed their relays. Vance keyed open channel. "Admiral Valek, this is Commodore Vance, task force relentless. Your escorts are gone. Power down reactors or we disable." Static hissed. Then Valek's face filled the screen, scaled jowls quivering, eyes wide under his command crest. "Humans, you violate escalation protocols. Safe zone breach was sanctioned." "Logs say otherwise," Vance cut in. "Your first strike, our answer." Behind him, Pinnacle *S bridge bucked. Alarms wailed, Park chimed. "Locks hold, spinal ready." Vance started the clock. "Surrender terms, full stand-down, fleet codes, officer transfers, 10 minutes, reactors go critical at 0. Valek snarled. "You bluff, coalition doctrine." 5:45, Vance said. Plot showed Pinnacle *S capacitors spiking. Desperate jumps, Keth murmured. "He's signaling captains, but they're dead." Park's rails whispered again. Warning shots grazed the bridge dome, cracks spidered. Valek flinched, crew scrambled. 4 minutes, Vance transmitted. Relentless closed, boarding drones prepped in tubes. Task force circled, unyielding. Valek's voice cracked. "Terms accepted, stand down." Vance exhaled once. "Codes first, Park secure." Drones launched. Cutters sliced Pinnacle *S hull. Marines in mag boots stormed corridors, stun lances popping coalition guards. Vance watched feeds. Park's teams moved like clockwork, breach, clear, hold. Minutes later, Valek appeared on secure line, wrists bound, flanked by human Marines. "Monsters," he spat. "You planned this." "Scheduled," Vance corrected. "Your habits mapped, doctrine predictable." Keth stepped into frame. "Admiral, your overrides killed them." Valek's crest flattened, recognition hit. "Traitor Keth." "Defector," Keth said. "Safe zone mattered, yours didn't." Vance cut the feed. "Interrogation to Relentless, extract fleet positions," Park reported. "Pinnacle docked, cores uploading." Plot refreshed. Coalition yards glowed, next targets, habitats spared, command nodes lit, but outer scopes pinged, full mobilization inbound. Coalition battle line, dozens strong, jumps coalescing. Vance leaned into the plot. Keth's net swelled with more defectors. Park's destroyers reloaded. Next bait, she said. Valek's codes unlock their gates. Keth nodded. They follow heroes, we make ghosts. Relays hummed. Fresh convoy sims spun up. Valek's confession vid queued for neutral broadcast. Task force jumped. Core worlds waited. Admiral Suro Valek sat in relentless S brig, screens mocking him. Human marines stood guard, unmoved. He thought humans fragile, prey in the safe zone, folding under regulated force. His first strike proved it, quick raid, compliant retreat, but they scheduled retaliation. Ghosts in the black, rails that stripped fleets like peeling fruit. Vance's voice echoed from logs. We own the rhythm. Valek's claws dug into palms. His battle line approached, pride of the coalition, shields phased, weapons hot. They hunted the human task force. He'd fed them the vectors himself under duress. A trap within a trap. No, humans broke men, not empires. Proximity alarms blared on his monitor. Battle line closed on the bait convoy. Captains hailed. Admiral's intercept confirmed? Affirm, Valek rasped. Lies burned. Explosions bloomed on feed. Human destroyers materialized. Crossfires again, escorts shredding. Park's voice calm. Cycles repeat. Valek slammed the console. Too late. His heroes walked the demolition. Back on Relentless, Vance watched the outer plot. Battle line crumpled under Park's lanes. Defectors jammed their overrides. Keth plotted fresh maps. Their next Admiral blinks same. Vance smiled faint. We force it. Jumps ignited. Yards fell next. Galaxy's rules burned precise, but mobilization swelled. Coalition core fleets massed, hundreds, doctrines hardening. Vance keyed fleet-wide. Park, Keth, full spread. We carve the heart. Rails charged. Ghosts accelerated. Who blinked? Not humans. Relentless burned coreward, steel heartbeat steady. Captain Jun Park gripped his destroyer's command rail as slugs flew. Viper danced through debris, cycles flawless. Escort 4 down, he said. Pinnacle lock holds. Vance's affirm pinged back. Brig feeds showed Valek raging silent. Park exhaled. Humans didn't gloat, they reloaded. Sensors spiked. Reinforcements jumped in coalition heavies, fresh from yards. New contacts, Park reported. Task force form on Relentless. Destroyers wheeled, rails synced. Vance's plot shared, bait convoy 2 launched using Valek's codes, heavies bit, Park smiled thin. Crossfires green. Fire, slugs stripped the new escorts. Heavies bunched, doctrinal override. Keth's voice, blink confirmed, Admiral Murek leads. Park targeted, bridge domes cracked, surrender clock started, another flag fell, task force grew. Captured hulls refitted, defectors manned guns. Vance's rhythm owned the void, core relay cracked wide. Coalition command reeled. Vance stood on Relentless S bridge, plot a graveyard of red icons. Full mobilization here, Keth said. Their last stand. Hundreds massed, shields lattice deep, Park chimed. We thread it, cycles scale. Vance nodded. Bait the core. Valek broadcasts. Interrogation vid live. Shackled Admiral confessed safe zone lies. Neutrals watched. Coalition wavered. Defect pings tripled. Battle line fractured. Rails thrummed. Humans closed. Disciplined. Targeted. Cold. Empire blinked. Vance whispered to the plot. Our turn. Jumps flared. Core worlds ignited. Admiral Suro Valek's shackled hands trembled over the holopad. His flag bridge feed flickered on Relentless S main plot. Coalition banners crumpling one by one. Commodore Mara Vance watched from her command perch, arms crossed. No smile creased her face. Sign it, she said. Valek's eyes burned. You primitives gutted my fleet, 300 hulls, my career. Sign. His stylus scratched the accord. Surrender terms locked, full disarmament reparations, and the safe zone authorization keys. Data packets beamed over, green confirmations blooming across Vance's console. Keth, at her elbow, nodded once. The defector's scales gleamed under bridge lights. Keys authentic, Keth murmured. Core access granted, Valek slumped. The coalition will avenge. Vance cut the feed. Park status. Captain Jun Park's destroyer icon pulsed on the plot. Viper reports all bait convoys clear, captured heavies forming up. Good, execute gatekeeper. Vance keyed the codes herself. Fingers danced over hardened inputs. Safe zone jump gates, those vast coalition monopolies, froze mid-cycle. Blue apertures winked out across the system. Trapped strike groups lit up like fireflies in a jar, 42 squadrons cut off from retreat. Alarms wailed on enemy bridges. Vance heard them echo in intercepted chatter. Panic fractured their lattice formations. Keth leaned in. Their doctrine demands fallback to secondary gates, none left now. Vance's plot shifted to 5 orbital clusters, shipyards, depots, command nexuses ringing the safe zone core. Red icons swarmed each. Her task force, 60 hulls strong, half-refitted coalition prizes, split into precision lances. Task force sync cycles, Vance ordered. Park leads first wave, simultaneous on my mark. Park's voice came calm. Viper in position, rails hot, timers green across board. Vance counted it down. Mark! Destroyers surged. Relentless thrummed as her escorts peeled away. Park's lance hit Orbit 1 first, a bloated depot ringed by corvettes. Slugs lanced out in perfect crosses, timed to milliseconds. Enemy point defense spasmed, overwhelmed by the rhythm. No wild sprays, just engineered holes. Depot tenders dropping shields, Park reported. Viper boarding teams away, cycle repeat. Vance tracked the feeds. Orbit 2, Keth's intel pinpointed weak shield overlaps. Her captured heavies exploited them, tractors snaring frigates mid-maneuver. Crews surrendered under railgun sights, no massacre needed. Orbit 3 flared hot. Coalition cruisers bunched doctrinal tight. Park's voice cut through. Override confirmed, bait drone away. A lone human shuttle, empty, broadcasting Valek's own codes, drew them in. Destroyers flanked. Slugs stripped engines. Bridge pods vented crew. White flags bloomed. Vance's bridge crew moved like clockwork. Ensigns piped border reports. Techs refitted prizes on the fly. Keth fed real-time doctrine breaks. They mass for ramming now, predictable. Orbit 4 buckled next. Heavy carriers fat with fighters tried alpha strikes. Human ECM jammed their locks. Rails answered. Park's cycle scaled, 1 destroyer per target, crossfires chaining. Fighters died in pens. Carriers went dark. 4 secured, Park said. Defectors crewing guns. Vance nodded to her plot. Orbit 5, the crown jewel. Coalition command nexus, shields lattice 10 deep. Valek's old heavies guarded it, loyalists to the end. Scale it, she told Park. His lance threaded the lattice. Slugs punched gaps, not hulls, tractors latched. Captured corvettes turned on kin. Defectors, Keth's contacts among them, broadcast overrides. Shields collapsed inward. Nexus beacons flashed surrender. No final bloodbath, just irons on wrists. Vance exhaled. Plot cleared to blue across 5 orbits. Task force stood down. Captured hulls outnumbered originals 2-1. Keth's eyes widened. You trapped them, dismantled without annihilation. Coalition doctrine calls for escalation to extinction here. Humans prefer efficiency, Vance said. Park, recover all teams, secure the beacon. Relentless closed on the safe zone core, a neutral obelisk ancient and glowing, enforcer of the galaxy's no-strike pact. Coalition had lit it green for their raid. Vance's Marines boarded under white lights, keys in hand. She watched the feed. Text sliced firmware. No conquest, just a rewrite. Warning embedded, the lead tech reported. Violation triggers isolation. Jump gates lock, orbits fall, rebuild at your peril. Human signature locked. Vance keyed neutral oversight. Beacon pulsed neutral again. Gates thawed for everyone but coalition remnants. Park docked beside her. All accounted, campaign ends clean. Keth stared at the obelisk. They broke the rules, you fixed them without claiming the prize. Vance turned from the viewport, stars wheeled beyond. Nobody abuses a safe zone twice. Intercepts crackled, coalition core worlds reeled, neutrals whispered of human precision. Valek's confession looped eternal. Task force formed up, jumped spooling home. But Vance lingered on one ping, a shadow fleet far rim, watching. Her plot whispered, not over. Commodore Vance's shuttle detached from Relentless, vectoring toward the beacon's shadow. Park's voice patched through. Shuttle secure, Marines report Nexus fully compliant. Acknowledged. Vance gripped her console. The obelisk loomed, its facets etching light across her viewport. Keth rode shotgun, his alien frame tense. Neutrals inbound, he said. They'll verify. Let them. Vance pulled the final diagnostic. Firmware rewrite hummed perfect. Human code woven deep, a ghost in the machine. Trigger on violation, gates freeze, orbits mapped to lances. Cold math, no rage, docking clamps thudded. Marines saluted crisp. Lead tech, Sergeant Reyes, handed the key fob. Beacon relinquished, ma'am. Warning live? Vance nodded. Transmit to oversight. Hollow bloomed, neutral arbiters, tentacled and scaled, icons from a dozen species, their lead pulsed query lights. Human task force confirms safe zone restored, Vance stated. Coalition keys revoked, firmware audited clean. Tentacle leads flickered. Anomaly detected, human subroutine? Precaution, Vance said. Abuse it again, pay the cycles. Silence stretched, then acceptance pinged. Beacon ownership flipped neutral, gates fully cycled open. Keth exhaled. They bought it, no protests. Vance's shuttle undocked. Relentless loomed ahead, task force arrayed like steel thorns. Captured prizes flew human flags now, defectors at guns, grinning. Park met her on the bridge. Full tally, 247 hulls secured, 0 human losses post-Valak. Crew murmured approval. No cheers, just reload checks. Vance settled into command. Form on me, jump home. Drives thrummed, stars blurred, but Keth lingered at the plot. Admiral Valak requests parley, personal channel. Vance arched a brow. Patch. Valak's face filled the screen, haggard, aboard a prize hauler. Commodore, your efficiency shames us. Why spare the Nexus? Take it. Rules exist for a reason, Vance replied. You broke them, we enforced. He leaned close. Coalition fractures, my peers sue for terms. But shadows stir, rim fleets unbound by doctrine. Vance's eyes narrowed, plot refreshed, faint signatures, deep space, watching. Noted, transmit their vectors. Valak nodded, data flowed, feed cut, Park glanced over, bait. Always, Vance keyed fleet-wide. Cycles reset. Eyes open, jumps ignited. Humans departed the safe zone, rewritten, unbreakable. Core worlds burned with the truth, provoke humanity, and the void answers measured, final, unforgiving. Word count, 1487 not included in output.